The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Kethvar's 4 eyes fixed on the human delegation. The Zephyrian's translator implant crackled with barely contained disbelief. "You're telling me," Kethvar said, his voice echoing through the crystalline halls, "that you sent a child into the Void Sector?" Captain Sarah Chen stood unfazed, her weathered hands clasped behind her back. Beside her, a slight figure in a patched environmental suit shifted nervously, barely 16 Earth years old with bright eyes that seemed to hold starlight. "Maya volunteered," Captain Chen replied simply, "and she succeeded where your best explorers failed." The council erupted. Delegates from 12 species chittered, roared, and harmonized their outrage. The Void Sector had swallowed 3 expeditions in the past decade, ships crewed by seasoned veterans from the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. The region was a graveyard of dark matter storms and gravitational anomalies that defied comprehension. "Impossible," hissed Counselor Vexthul, the Serpentine representative. The Korthaki sent their finest navigators. The Ethereals dispatched their most gifted scions. All lost. Maya stepped forward, and something in her movement made the chamber quiet. She moved like someone who had danced with the darkness between stars and emerged unafraid. "They fought it," she said, her voice carrying clearly without amplification. "That was their mistake." She activated her wrist display, projecting a 3-dimensional map of the Void Sector. Unlike the sterile mathematical representations the Council was accustomed to, this one pulsed with organic life. Streams of data that seemed to breathe and flow. "Earth taught me something your worlds never could," Maya continued. "On Earth we call it a death world because everything tries to kill you. Hurricanes, earthquakes, predators, diseases, radiation storms. But humans don't survive by fighting everything." The projection shifted, showing Maya's small ship, barely larger than a shuttlecraft, threading through impossible mazes of twisted space-time. "We survive by learning to dance." Ambassador Kethvar's translator struggled with the concept. "Dance? The void isn't empty," Maya explained. "It's alive, full of currents and rhythms. Your explorers brought weapons and shields trying to force their way through. I brought music." She gestured, and the chamber filled with sound, not the harsh mechanical tones of standard communication arrays, but something organic. Whale songs mixed with human lullabies, jazz improvisation flowing into the mathematical poetry of quasar emissions. I listened to the void, and it listened back. The projection showed what no other expedition had captured, the void responding, its chaotic energies gradually synchronizing with Maya's transmission. Dark matter streams that had crushed battle cruisers began to spiral in harmony, creating safe passages that shouldn't exist according to any known physics. "Remarkable," whispered Dr. Zalthi, the ancient crystalline sage. The child achieved resonance. "Not just resonance," Captain Chen interjected. "Contact." The chamber gasped as Maya's projection revealed the truth hidden in the void's heart. Structures, no, beings, older than most civilizations, composed of dark matter and quantum foam. They had been trying to communicate for millennia, but their language was written in gravitational waves and temporal distortions. "They call themselves the Weavers," Maya said. "They've been alone so long, they forgot how to speak to matter-based life. But humans, we're good at learning new languages." She smiled, and for a moment the hardened council delegates saw not a Death World survivor, but simply a young girl sharing an extraordinary discovery. "They want to meet you all. The Weavers are curious about our civilizations, our music, our stories. They've been weaving dark matter into art forms we can't even perceive, waiting for someone who could bridge the gap." Ambassador Kethvar's wings fluttered, a sign of deep emotion among his people, and they agreed to this. "Cultural exchange?" "More than that," Maya laughed. "They're excited. Apparently they've been trying to figure out how to make their dark matter sculptures visible to us for centuries. One of them, she calls herself Symphony, has been working on a translation matrix." The projection shifted again, showing impossible beauty. Dark matter gardens blooming in patterns that made mathematics sing, cosmic structures that painted meaning across light years of space. "They want to teach us," Maya continued. "The Weavers can manipulate space-time like we manipulate clay. They could show us how to build ships that ride gravitational currents, cities that exist in folded space, art that spans galaxies." Counselor Vexthul coiled nervously. "And what do they want in return?" Maya's grin was pure human mischief. "Stories. Music. They want to learn how matter-based life creates meaning. They're particularly interested in Earth's concept of hope. The council chamber buzzed with translation difficulties. Apparently, hope was a uniquely complex concept. They also want to meet more humans, Maya added. Symphony said we're the first species that tried to understand instead of conquer. She wants to learn how Earth shaped us that way. Captain Chen stepped forward. The first cultural exchange mission launches next week. Maya will be our official ambassador. Ambassador Kethvar's eyes widened. You're sending the child back? I'm not a child anymore, Maya said quietly. I've walked between dimensions and made friends with the darkness. I've heard the universe singing to itself. Earth made me strong enough for that journey, and now I'm strong enough to help build bridges. She looked around the chamber, meeting each delegate's gaze without flinching. That's what Deathworld children do. We survive the impossible, and then we use that strength to help others thrive. The council voted unanimously to approve the cultural exchange. As the delegates filed out, chattering excitedly about the possibilities, Ambassador Kethvar approached Maya. Child, forgive me, Ambassador. One question remains. Why did you volunteer for such a dangerous mission? Maya looked out through the chamber's transparent walls at the stars beyond. Because someone told me the void was impossible to cross. On Earth, we have a saying about things that are impossible. Which is? Her smile could have lit solar systems. Hold my juice box. The Weavers, watching from their dark matter realm, felt something new ripple through space-time. The quantum signature of laughter. They decided they were going to like these humans very much indeed.